What's up, everybody? Are you into punk? Are you into garage rock? Are you into power pop? Well, I've got a band called The Last that I'm going to tell you about. And you might not have heard of them before, but I know that if you're into those genres, you'll probably dig them. All right, here we go. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed with vinyl CDs and cassettes. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed. Oh yeah! All right, so the band The Last. They were formed in LA in 1976, and they were originally formed by the Nolte brothers. Joe on guitar vocals, Mike vocals, and David on bass and vocals. They came out with some albums on the SST label. That's how I heard about them, but they also have some albums on other labels as well. Their debut, which I have on CD called LA Explosion, has gone on to garner sort of like a cult status among people into like punk, garage rock, as I said in the intro, power pop with like a little bit of jangle pop mixed in there as well. Their debut, 1979, as I said, is called LA Explosion. This was recorded at Media Art Studio in Hermosa Beach. And interesting reading up about this, I guess at the same time, at the same studio, Frank Zappa was recording Joe's Garage, and Fleetwood Mac was recording Tusk, which is pretty cool. This originally came out on Bomp Records. And I don't think I mentioned this too. There's like a little bit of 60s psych mixed in with them. And look at these guys right there. I mean, you could tell they were into that sort of style of music. And again, this came out in 1979. It went on to influence bands like the Bangles, Descendants, the 3 O'Clock, which I've never heard of before. I got to check them out. There was this scene, and I don't know too much about it, but it was called the Paisley Underground. And it was sort of like this resurgence in 60s psych and garage rock. As I said, bands like the Bangles were doing it. I know Prince paid homage to it with his album Around the World in a Day. So kind of a cool scene. This album, LA Explosion, sort of catapulted that sort of sound and influenced a bunch of bands after that. I also have their second album called Look Again on vinyl. And this follows the same sort of sound as LA Explosion. Check out this cool vinyl on this. It also comes with a poster and a bonus 7-inch. And this is the tune Fade to Black, not Metallica's Back with Weekend Girl. They just have a very unique sound. And to know that they influence some of my favorite bands like the Bangles and Descendants just adds that extra cool factor. I told you they released some albums with the SST label. I have their album Confession on vinyl. This is from 1988. And what's cool, there's a little note on the back here by Bill Stevenson, the drummer of Black Flag and Descendants, and all. It says, Notage, in 1978, The Last completely changed my outlook on music. They were the single biggest influence on me and my band, The Descendants. During our formative period, in 1988, my band All and The Last ended up sharing the same rehearsal space. They asked me to produce their record. How could I say no? They're still my favorite band, Bill Stevenson. So yes, he produced this album. I also have it on CD as well. And they also came out with an album called Awakening on the SST label. And what's interesting about this is they cover the Beatles' She Loves You on here. So just a pretty cool band, and I don't think a lot of people have heard about them. And the only reason I've heard of them is because of the SST connection. But again, if you are into punk, if you're into garage rock and 60s psych and power pop and jangle pop and all those other genres, check these guys out, The Last. Yeah, I think you'll dig them. All right, everyone. Bye.